So how should someone ask you out on a date? Honestly, just with confidence. So you should be the person asking out the person that you want to take out. Do it with confidence and do it in a way where they should be happy to want to go out with you.
They should be like, hey, I was wondering, would you like to go with me to such and such place at such and such time?
You have to be nice. You can't be aggressive or mean with it.
For someone to ask me out on a date, I would not want it to be anything extravagant. Just a simple, hey, would you like to go out for dinner or breakfast or whatever?
If a girl ever asked me on a date, I'd be super ecstatic because that doesn't usually happen. But I guess with confidence and just try not to make it like awkward, I guess, or too like formal. Obviously that can be like depending on your age or the person, honestly. But just try not to be, too weird and too awkward. I would just, try to be natural and don't make it seem so datey. If you're asking me, of course, don't make it seem so datey, but just, like a just casual type of let's hang out type of thing.
So how should someone ask you out on a date? Well, to me, I feel like you should ask someone out in person. Like, yes, text is an option, but I feel like it'd be better if you just ask someone face to face, And even like do something stereotypically romantic. Like, I don't know, give a rose or something. Just something that'll just figure out the type of person the person you want to ask out is. So like, do something that'll make them happy.
How should someone ask you on a date? I would say be very explicit. A lot of men have sometimes trouble reading signals, so if you are very specific about date, time, location, and the more creative you are, the better. That's the way I like to be asked out.
If a person is interested in me, they should just approach me and ask me out on a date for themselves.
We didn't grow up in the social media age, so it would, just have a conversation. Hey, do you want to go out Friday? And then schedule it and go out Friday, not sliding DMs or anything like that.
Just being direct and being clear about, hey, I want to go on a date. What are you doing next Friday or Saturday? Here's what I was thinking. Please come with a plan. Don't just say, where you want to go.
The perfect date to me is doing something with someone that you like or you have an interest in. Doing something that y'all both will enjoy as a unit. Like, if you like the movies and they like the movies, y'all gonna go on a movie date, watch your favorite genre.
Perfect date, in my opinion, somewhere fun. Gotta include food because I like to eat. Drinks, always fun. But it just had to be somewhere fun, not traditional out to eat, something like that. You have to be a little different in today's world, especially with COVID. It's a little different.
Not the perfect date. For me, I like to eat. So something that has food involved. You can sit down, you can talk, you can ask each other questions, and then possibly something that's fun. So the aquarium is actually a really good date. Going to art exhibits.
Perfect date, I would say food is usually involved at some point, but you don't want to lead with that. Something just kind of fun that's going to get you guys talking, get you guys learning about each other. I've typically heard to stay away from like movies or things where you don't really get to interact as much. And try not to be cliche, I guess. Dinner and movie is cool for like a second or third date, but like a first date, you usually want to try to, switch it up, do something spontaneous, do something, and just really try to make sure, especially from a male perspective, that you plan. Women really like when you plan things out. They like to see that leadership. They like to see that, you put some thought into it.
The perfect date for me is a lot of laughter, a lot of fun, ongoing communication from both sides, and the feeling of just being able to be myself.
Perfect date for me is good conversation, something interactive, good music, and good food. Very easy.
The perfect date is one that involves two elements. The first is, just a very cool, creative idea. Think less dinner and sit down and kind of discussion, and more being up and kinetic, axe throwing, maybe some hiking, maybe, some kind of fun activity. That's the first part. And then the second part is something that's spontaneous. Something you all decide, you kind of in the passion of the moment that you want to do together, that's unplanned, but really kind of catches the vibe and the essence of the date.
Perfect date would probably be somewhere where you can have a lot of fun, yet get to know the person and make good memories with the person. Because everybody wants to remember their first date with somebody, especially if you see the relationship lasting a while, you always reminisce about your first date. That's when I fell in love with you, or that's when I knew I'd be with you for a while, I personally would like to go on an aquarium date because very pretty, and you can talk to the person, spend a good amount of time with them.
So the perfect date for me would be something where it's just me and the other person, no distractions, no cell phones, no text messages, just me and the other person. And we would do something fun, like take a cooking class together or go to an amusement park or something where we could interact in a natural setting. And then we would probably go out to eat somewhere because I like to eat, and then just spend time together talking somewhere quiet where it's just me and that other person.
I would go out to a restaurant with a person.
Nowadays, after the date, when you get home, kind of a quick text. You don't want to try to get ahead too quickly. You don't want to over text them or call them as soon as the date is over. You do have to be cognizant of that, but a quick text after the date is usually cool. And then, the next day or a day or two, you don't want to wait too long. But the next day or a day or two, just send a quick text or a call, hey, had a good time. Would love to hang out again, or hope you enjoyed it. And just try to be authentic. That's the whole goal.
How long should someone wait to call you after the date? I don't really have a that was too soon. I think too long would probably be more of a problem than too soon, but it's okay to call someone and say, ask how did they like the date, and, make sure they got home safely.
That night, to make sure they got home safely.
So I would be fine with the person calling me the same day to say, hey, I had a nice time, and maybe make plans for a second date.
A true gentleman would call me after the date to ensure that I got home.
You should call them when you get home from the date or whatever. But if the date went wrong, still should call them when you get home and then go from there.
How long should a person wait to call you after the date? Well, I'd say it depends on how the date went and how the conversation is going afterwards. So if you guys are texting afterwards, if you think everything's going well texting wise, then offer up a call. But it varies on the person, because some people don't like to call, or some people prefer texting or something. So it really just depends on the person.
I think maybe after everybody's both home, a simple text or call, and make sure they're okay, make sure they're good, that y'all both enjoyed y'all time with each other.
Yeah, I think nowadays you don't really have to play those games, but give it maybe a day or two. But if you really like the person and you could see it going somewhere and you felt the vibe, then don't be afraid to follow up that night and be like, hey, did you make it home safe? Or follow up the next morning and be like, hey, good morning, had a good night with you, hope you have a good day. Don't be afraid to step out and do that. You don't have to follow the cool rule of 3 to 4 days. Doesn't matter. You can reach out when you want to.
If I enjoy spending time with the person, if I like them, if I feel we have a good time together, And if I feel we have the same core values and morals, and if I can see a future with this person, that's how I would determine if I want to get into a relationship with them or just move on.
Go with your instincts. If something's telling you to, stay and build, or, just go with your instincts. It's the only thing I can think of. If something telling you to run, then it might be time to run. But if something telling you to stay, get to know that person and see if you can build something and make a future with her.
I know when it's time to move forward in a relationship or to take the relationship to the next level, when we both see eye to eye on things, we share the same values, that person has been very consistent and patient with me, and they are also looking for a meaningful relationship and have asked me if I'm ready to move forward in the relationship.
I'd say you should sit back and really think about a future with the person. If you could see a very good future that you're happy living with that person, then go ahead and do it. If you don't think that you'll have a good future with that person, then you should probably move to the next person. That's the best way I can put it. Like, if you can't exactly see long term, what's the point in being in a relationship with somebody,
It's cliche, but I think when you know, you know. Like, if you really mess with the person and you felt the vibe, then go ahead and pursue it. But if you have any hesitation moving forward, then don't move forward. But if you have that, certain feeling, then just go with it.
If you really like that person, then, yeah, trust your instinct.
How do you decide if you should get into a relationship or move on? I think it's all about really being in tune to what makes you happy. And if this person makes you happy, then I think you should pursue a relationship with them. Now, if you're in a relationship and you're sad more than you're happy, then you need to move on. I think sometimes people get stuck in being with someone for a really long time, or just looking at some of the positive aspects that they have, but not the total picture. If you're sad more than you're happy, then that's not the right relationship for you.
I would say just to go off a feeling. If it feels right, keep it going. As soon as it doesn't feel right, stop it.
Feel a vibe, then go for it. But if you don't, then there's no point in keep going. Just move on, find an ex,
Decide if you should get into a relationship or move on. So there's no really kind of designated time period. I think it's, I hate to sound cliche, but it's just a feeling. So if you feel like your attention and all your drive is kind of focused on this one person, I think it's worth a shot. If you find yourself less interested in other people, you kind of drive your day around hearing from that person and kind of checking up on what they're doing and making sure they're okay, and kind of hearing about, their day and all that good stuff. I think it's time to kind of funnel your attention there. If you are not getting back what you're putting out, if you are constantly wondering why your texts are going unanswered to, or why your DMs are sitting on red, or whatever the case might be, if it's not reciprocal, there's probably a reason for it, and you should probably move on to somebody else, which is fine. I mean, there's plenty of people out there. So the moral is, don't waste your time. Time is very valuable.